Hello, welcome to the Smart Hub. It's 1 o'clock on Thursday, and I am on the couch with the gorgeous and amazing Tamara Loehr. You would recognize Tamara from a couple of weeks ago. When were you on the couch with me before? I think we were in my office then.
Time flies. I think I've literally flown to the States and come back and everything in that time, so it's all been a bit of a blur.
Has it been 6 weeks or maybe 3 or 4? I don't know.
Something like
that. Yeah. How gorgeous is the weather in Rockhampton today?
Oh, always amazing.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. So as you all know, we do these HubLives for 2 reasons. The number 1 reason is to help you adopt and take on technology in your business. And the second reason is to encourage people to learn and adopt best business practice, like modern best business practice, because business has changed. Business is different to what it was in the 1980s, 90s, and early 2000s, and really the change is driven mostly by technology. And so that's why we have these HubLives, so that you can adopt these principles and adopt technology, make more money, save time, and of course, grow your business. Now, Tamara is a very experienced business owner. Just give us a little bit of a rundown again, Tamara, of your business experience.
So 20 years now, so
no way.
More than most marriages, I would imagine.
That's
including
right.
my first. But yeah, so 20 years of being self-employed.
Yeah.
And you know, I say that lightly because for a long time I didn't consider myself an entrepreneur. Because for me, I feel you need to be able to build a business that doesn't depend on you and be able to exit a business before you're a true entrepreneur. Otherwise, really, what you're doing is just creating a job for yourself, right? And not having to deal with a boss, which is very nice, but...
And that's not bad. That's not a bad
great.
thing to
Stage
do.
1 is awesome.
Yeah.
So 20 years, and then obviously marketing was my background and what I studied at James Cook University, so Queenslander. And then moved to Brisbane, started my own agency and took that national and then global. And you know what it's like, us entrepreneurs, they call us magpies because we get distracted by shiny objects. So then went into wellness, which I'm really passionate about, and creating products. So I spent so much time, I'm very grateful for it, in the ad agency. I got to see so many businesses and under the hood, as we call it, which was wonderful because I got to see and learn so much about so many industries, which is all the value that we're bringing to the lab here, right? Which is great.
Exactly.
So I've seen so many ways to make money, so many ways that people, grow businesses and scale them, what to do, what not to do. And then I went out on my own to do my own products, and that's what I've been doing now for about 5 years, and built and sold a couple, and I'm working on a few projects now, but mainly focusing on Australian made products that are female founded, or at least one co-founder that's female, and then taking those to the States, because that's really where you can get some high revenue numbers, outside of Australia. So it's an exciting journey. It's fun.
Oh, that's awesome. So I first saw you, before I even met you, I first saw you in Brisbane at a pitch night. I think Mark Sowerby, the chief entrepreneur, 3 chief entrepreneurs ago, organised this investor night where all the investors pitched to the startups instead of the startups to the investors.
It was reverse pitching. Yeah.
And Steve Wilson at that time organised everything.
Yeah.
And I think you were on stage first. And
the
tech didn't work.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
So which was quite funny. I think I was having a bit of a dig to Baxter about the fact that, isn't this a tech?
Exactly.
Isn't this a tech event and the tech isn't working? What a great show.
That was a great show.
Over 1,000 people.
I know.
They were spilling out onto the streets. They had to put cameras out and TVs out.
We had TVs outside, I remember. I sat inside for a bit and then outside for a bit. We met amazing people. I met someone who was working for Audi. And it was a really great event.
Entrepreneurship in Queensland is alive and well. I can tell you that.
Very much so.
And I reckon we have a secret weapon because we're very hard workers and we're down to earth. Like, we just call it for what it is in Queensland. And those are really great traits to have in business. So that was fun.
Yeah,
that was a fun night,
fun.
except for my tech problem.
Yeah.
But I had to wing it. But
you did an exceptional job. You did wing it well. So by the way, if what we're talking about sounds appealing to you, like there is a community of entrepreneurs in Queensland, and we're a very welcoming community, and the best way to link into that community is to link into the Smart Hub. It's a really, really easy way to get involved, not only in what's happening locally in business, but what's happening in Queensland and then what's happening globally, right? Yeah. Okay, so the next time I saw you was actually in the Smart Hub when you flew up with Steve Baxter for another pitch night, but this time our local startups were pitching to Steve for investment.
Yep.
And it's at that night where you and I started the conversation of how can you get involved in this in the Smart Hub, right? And then fast forward another year, I think it's only been 3 years, but in this space, things go so fast, it's more like donkey years. Like,
yes, and she never changes. She always looks perfect. So in 3 years.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
no,
we'll have that. We'll take that offline.
True.
Share that secret.
Yeah. Hey, Leah. Hey, Matthew. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm here with the incredible Tamara Loehr, and I'm just kind of telling the story about how we met to get to the point of what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
So then the second one was the pitch night.
Yeah, jumping on Baxter's plane. That was interesting.
And didn't you say you had to fly the plane back?
Well, they had a co-pilot, which is good. I did not have my pilot's license, but yes, there was already a pilot, but they needed a co-pilot. So that was a bit of fun because I think we hit a major hailstorm.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway,
was that scary?
Adventures, It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, and then fast forward again a year later, at the end of 2000, where are we in? 18. Last year, at the end of 17. Hey, Veronica, thanks for joining us. At the end of 2017, I found myself on a phone call with someone who was employed by the federal government saying, look, there's this funding available from the federal government. It is kind of matched funding, so 2/3 funding from federal government, and then we need to find people to match the funding. But we can run an incredible program here at the Smart Hub. And so that was the start of what is now known as the Turbo Traction Lab. So what happened between that phone call and today is we sat in a room. When I say we, I mean people that are close to me, and we designed an incredible program to help people, just business owners, people who are entrepreneurs, people who want to create business. My definition for an entrepreneur is someone who creates a profitable business.
Yeah.
So anyone who wants to create a profitable business, to have the drive and passion to do that. So we created this amazing program, and this is a unique design, and it's unique. Hey Maria, thank you so much for joining us. It's a unique program because it's a hands-on program where experts such as Tamara flies to Rockhampton, which is a little bit of an unheard of thing. You haven't spent too much time in Rockhampton prior to...
Oh yes, I mean I've got family here.
But you spend more time in the US than you do than you would here.
Absolutely. But you go where the good people are, right?
So, Tamara, people like Tamara, great experts, fly to Rockhampton, roll up their sleeves, sit next to our entrepreneurs and help them build business from the ground up.
Everything that they need.
Everything.
From start to finish. Literally, that's why it's called Turbo.
Yes.
It's like 20 years of my business learnings and my agency with all the marketing and my connections that I've built up over 20 years. It's basically put down in 80 days and they have access to that. So it's a head spinner. But oh my gosh, they're fast-tracked. What an opportunity. It is huge.
That is absolutely amazing, right? Yeah. So what it is we're talking about the Turbo Traction Lab, if you haven't guessed so far. The Turbo Traction Lab is a program where we help entrepreneurs build modern businesses in 80 days. And the way in which we assist these entrepreneurs is by giving you access, direct access. I mean access like this to Tamara and other experts like her that sit next to you and help you build your business. Everything from figuring out what your why is, to how to set up your marketing funnel, to how to get your first sale, to how to know who your target market is, from product management, everything all the way through to setting up legals and finance, everything.
And then we turn the dial and we scale it up. That's what we've been doing this morning. We've done MVPs and now I'm like, right, now let's tip 100 leads into this funnel a week and get you global.
Yay.
So it's pretty cool.
That is awesome. So that we're coming to, we have funding for 3 labs.
Yes.
Yeah, we went through the whole funding process.
And credit to you, let's just give some credit. You make it sound like that was easy, but the fact that you were able to raise the funds to do this so that it doesn't cost them anything, I mean, well done. We are so blessed to have her in rocky Queensland, Australia, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you for your kind words. But what I will say is, I'm not the person funding it, so let's acknowledge everyone who is contributing to the funding. So federal government, Rockhampton Regional Council, and Bevan Slattery is funding this incredible program. And that gives people who apply free access.
It's incredible. I think you were saying it's valued at like $160,000. So what an MBA. And it's really hands-on. what you get, I mean, I think about all the money I've spent with, you know, my memberships in EO and going to universities, you know, for learning events, business coaches, being part of some of the networks. I mean, one of my networks cost me 30 grand a year just to be a member of.
Yeah.
So all this stuff that I've spent on, these guys get access to all of that.
Free of charge.
It's crazy. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful initiative, and the guys have come so far.
Yeah, so what I'd like to do is a couple of things with you today. I'd like to talk about who's in the who's in the lab program now.
Yeah.
What kind of businesses are we looking for the second lab? Applications are currently open for the second lab, but they close in the next week or so.
Yep, and you filled quite a few spots.
We've already filled quite a few spots. We're only taking 12.
Yes.
Yeah, so limited spots. It is a free program valued at $160,000. We do have some extra value that we're not even mentioning, which we might get to later. But let's talk about who's in the hub, what you've done with them, what the experience has been, and who we're looking for to apply next.
Yes.
So tell us, let's start with the earrings. Both you and I are wearing
one of the students.
2 green stones earrings.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Tell us about Jade.
Let's look at her journey, for instance.
Yes.
So when she still says every time she meets me, she sleeps so well after a day with me, but because it's pretty intense, right?
Yeah, I think you're like a tornado, really.
Yeah, well, I think that's my nickname. It's Tamara the Tornado, but in a good way. So when I met her, she was, you know, making these beautiful earrings. I mean, that's the thing. You have to have a good product.
Yes.
Let's start with that.
Handcrafted, gorgeous.
They're just gorgeous.
Yeah.
So she had this beautiful product. She's making them herself, and she's selling to friends and family. So to me, I'm like, okay, that's not correct validation. Let's turn this, let's take it to the market properly, and let's figure out how to sell this. Now, she really wanted to focus on online sales, but we also explore what other opportunities, because really, if you want to get to over $1 million in sales in Australia to start with, you really want several channels. She didn't know where to start with any of that.
Okay, so just can I interrupt you? What does the word channel mean? Just so that if people
so
are watching not sure.
Channels are different ways that you take your product or service to them in order to make money. So a channel could be retail, which is one of her strategies that we've come up with. A channel is obviously online. You've got Amazon, you've got subscriptions, you've got all sorts of ways that you can sell your product, basically.
Cool,
so that's
excellent.
a channel. So we start with what is the strategy, and we start with the end in mind. So we went, okay, Jade, this is what I dream for you. And that is that you have a business and your earrings are being sold globally in beautiful, aligned with beautiful brands. So you're selling internationally, mainly the States was my key focus, because that's where a lot of my network is. Your online is working really well, and you're selling online direct to consumers through Facebook and Instagram and all those sorts of channels. And then number 3, you've got a bit of a retail spin as well. So, you know, you've got some stockists that are stocking you and selling your product. And I said, and we're going to start from way back there, and we're going to work back on how we do this. And it's interesting because a lot of people go, this is where I want to be, when you say, let's dream big, right? If there was no problems like objections, whether it be money, which is actually not what startups need most of the time.
Absolutely.
A lean business is a good business.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you could dream big, what is that? So we start there, and then what's really great about what we do is we go all the way back and we say, how do we chip away to get to that point? And really how you eat an elephant.
Little pieces, one bite at a time.
Exactly. Now, she is finishing up this week, is the end of her 80 days.
Yes.
And I get goosebumps when I think about it.
Yes.
She has she's got a mentor in the States of somebody who has 40 stores, jewelry stores. So she's mentoring her, which is a connection that I have.
That's amazing. So finding a mentor is actually one of the cornerstones of being successful.
Absolutely.
But actually trying to get someone to mentor you is quite a skill. And you just gave her a mentor, essentially.
Yeah, well, I've known this lady for years through a network, and I rang her and I said, can you please do me a favour? I found a few mentors for the people in the group.
Yes.
And how great is that to have those conversations around how to set your prices in the States, you know, what to look out for, packaging, all these lessons that they've learnt just in being a jewellery maker that they can share. So we started with a mentor in America. We did some pricing models. Her branding is divine. She's just been to a trade show, and she got stockists and did orders both in Australia, and she got some international orders, which is fantastic. And I also hooked her up with another friend who's a fashion designer in America, And she sells in all the boutiques, like the Marriott and the Ritz-Carlton, in the nice boutiques, which is just perfect for these,
Perfect
right?
market, yeah.
Perfect
High-end earrings, yes.
So she's now helping her get into that market, which is unbelievable. Now, she was selling to friends and family before, and I'm like, well, you better go back and tell those friends and family that the stock is not available for them anymore unless they're paying online.
I love that so much. Hey, Caleb. Hey, Douglas. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm on the couch with the gorgeous Tamara Loehr, and we're talking about the Turbo Traction Lab, a phenomenal opportunity for people who want to build international businesses from scratch, or even if you're just starting, or you could be an existing business owner who really wants to take your product or service global, then this is the right program for you to look at,
Absolutely.
to apply. So with Jade, all of that happened in the last 80 days.
Yep, and not just the connections and the sales, but all the systems and processes behind it so that she can scale without the wheels falling off, which is really important.
Absolutely. So
process.
she's set to go like this, right? She's set for absolute success.
Absolutely.
And that's just one of our participants. Let's talk about someone else.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're watching us. No one's watching except for Caleb.
Well, their ears will be burning.
Absolutely. Who else would you like to highlight?
Oh, look, there's Adrian. That's obviously, he started with a business idea, which is great, but we really refined it and got it down to being something really narrow. So that's something we do as well, is we say, okay, let's have a look at research and data to see if this business is viable. And a lot of the time you can narrow it down. The problem that I have with a lot of businesses is they try and be everything to everybody because they feel it's a limited market. But when you open things up globally, you can be really niche and then take market share in one direct area. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Do you know, I think that's one of the hardest things. So I've experienced this myself, and I see this in a lot of entrepreneurs. You feel like you need to serve everybody.
And say yes to everything.
And say yes to everybody. And when you're stuck in that space in your head, it's really difficult to go, I'm actually going to say no to all of these people and focus on this narrow little niche.
Exactly.
But you are so great at focusing attention on where the money actually is and where the sales can come from, and then setting strategy to find that narrow, deep niche. So if you're stuck in your head and you feel like you have this great product idea or service idea, but you want to serve everybody, talking to Tamara can actually really help you get momentum. Because
I have the same problem in my own businesses.
Yeah.
You're too close to it.
You are. You're in it. Yes.
I say, I need a helicopter. Somebody come in. Because you really need to get somebody to pull you out of that business. Say, come up here and let's look at it from up here. What does this actually look like?
Exactly.
Because you know what? If you try and be everything to everyone, guess what happens?
No
you end
one
up being
listens.
mediocre at everything. So there's a great book by someone who's actually lecturing me. So I'm still studying. I'm at MIT in Boston part-time doing the Entrepreneur's Masters program. And Francis Fry, it's called Uncommon Service. Great book if you want to read it. But it talks about be deliberately good at the things that you want to and definitely bad at the things that don't serve you as a business. So I love that concept. So we're really giving each other permission. And what I love about the lab as well is that we're all in a WhatsApp group. We're all talking daily on the WhatsApp, and I'm in all sorts of places sending the messages at weird hours depending on the time zones. But we're all supporting each other. And that's the critical thing about this as well, is the number one thing I think that's really helped me in my success is not being in isolation.
Yeah.
I have a forum, and there are 8 people that I meet with every month, and we spend all the time talking about each other and caring about each other's goals. And we've created that in this lab. And there's been some really nice friendships formed.
Yeah.
And we're all supporting each other. And when Jade, won all those orders at the trade show, I mean, we sent her videos dancing.
It's a cool video. Yeah, we rang the bell for her.
Yes.
We have a sales bell.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, having that support of everyone is really, really important. And nobody knows what it's like to be an entrepreneur unless you're one yourself.
Yeah.
You can go home and, talk to your cat or your husband, but, at the end of the day, it's like-minded people that you need around you who know what it takes and can be there behind you. So it's been a lovely experience for that.
Something I hear quite often is that, people struggle to find a group of people who are positive and confident and optimistic. And that's definitely here in the hub,
Absolutely.
in the Traction Lab. So if you need to be surrounded, or if you feel isolated, if you're struggling to narrow down your market, if you just need some positive encouragement, if you know that if someone would just give you a pat on the back and just point you in the right direction, you would be off running, then the lab is the perfect place for you. The support is phenomenal.
We're looking for aliens.
We are.
We're looking for those people who go, actually, you know what, there has to be more. I reckon I'm capable of more.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we are all about, there's not scarcity.
No.
We're all about abundance. It's completely confidential. Everything that's said in the room stays in the room as far as everyone's strategies. So, you know, this beautiful environment, a safe environment where we can share and think big and not be embarrassed to do that.
Absolutely.
And the reason why is because it's so possible. When we've gone through it with every single person, because everyone works together as a group, but when we work back from what their goal is and work back from that, they go, my gosh, this is just 5 leads a week that I have to convert. That's totally doable. And that gets me to $1 million revenue. This is easy.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. I actually, Tamara has introduced something called the scorecard. And I think the scorecard is a phenomenal concept because what it enables you to do is it focuses your attention on the things that matter and it boils it down to the least amount of work that you need to do to achieve your goals. And when I say your goals, I'm not talking about making $50,000. We are talking about raising revenue of up to $1 million a year.
Absolutely.
And then setting that as a scalable business. So we just want to get to that first million and from 1 million we jump to 10, right?
And an asset, something that people might want to buy, a business.
Exactly.
And you've got to be in the 10 million sort of mark just to be acquirable.
Yes.
So, you know, small businesses, and there's not a lot of investment around, we need to be able to show that this business is on a really nice growth trajectory. They get the attention.
Yeah, exactly. So there's another reason to apply for the Turbo Traction Lab. If you have a big idea, big goal, but you're struggling to like break it down to what do I need to do today to actually get me there in a year, this is the process is in the Traction Lab.
And
There's
we break
an
it down
actual
to that
process.
month.
Yes.
So that scorecard, and I won't take credit for it because my business coach, we have them in every one of my businesses. So that's all we're doing is we're creating that for them. So I take them from that, we go down and we work on 5-year goals, 3-year goal, 1-year goal, and then down into quarterly rocks, we call them, and then monthly things that get us to those rocks. So monthly actions. So what's great is they just have one page and it says you have to do these following things, and as long as you're ticking those off every month, you are on your way to that goal of 1 and 3 years, which is pretty exciting. And we hold each other accountable. So that's the important thing. They all have to-do lists and I'm there going, excuse me. They've got this lovely app that sounds like a whip, and they're always using it after I say, right, has everyone done what they're going to do? Then I hear this.
I love that.
It's kind of funny.
Let's also mention Daniel. So we have an entrepreneur in residence who sits through all of our experts. So
Speaking of rocks, he is the rock.
He is the rock, and he's great at holding people accountable, and he does go, what's on your to-do list today, and how can I help you get it done? So he's also a resource that we can draw on to help us get
your
stuff
hands
done.
dirty, which is good because tech is not my thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk just briefly about anyone else. So Brad is there. Who else can we mention?
Yeah, so Brad's doing really well.
Yeah.
He's obviously got an app which is highly competitive to the app business, you know, the unicorns of the world. But we've been able to really break that down as to how we can take that global. So it's interesting because he started by saying, I'm just going to put it out there. A lot of people just think that when you put something out there, it will come.
Build it and they will come. No, that doesn't
Wouldn't that
work.
be nice?
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
I think
Everyone
the only
would be
person that
wealthy.
works for is a Kardashian. And not only that, their sales funnel has been pretty healthy to date with TV shows. So no, that's not the reality of things. So we've been working on, okay, how do we take this to market? How many calls do we need to be making? How do we support them? What is the sales process? Because what's interesting with an app is you've got to change their behavior and they've got to start using it. So when they're downloading it and they're not converting, this is the important bit. When you come to all these roadblocks, as I call them, as they keep coming up in your face, guess what my job is? To come in,
Punch them away.
to punch it, put a process in place and say, right, let's get over that one. And then just keep powering through that. And what's been really nice is we have a really great sales process now that can convert. So I think yesterday was the first time that without any intervention, someone came, downloaded the app and purchased it. So another ring the bell moment, which was very exciting.
So let's just highlight what Brad does. So Brad created an app called Bakido, and Bakido is a platform for driver instructors. So if you have a driving instructing school, it's an app where you can actually run your entire business from this platform on your phone. And
so important for them because they're fee for service, right?
Yeah.
So they have to spend a lot of time doing lessons. And I'm not sure that would be a nice career for me because I think I'd pull my hair out.
Oh my goodness.
So they need as much support as possible. So he's created that. But you know, when we looked at the market, there's around 5,500 driving instructors in Australia. So for me, I'm like, let's just get this down pat here and let's go to the UK and the US. So that's what I'm really excited about for him.
Yeah, he was telling me the other day that he's looking at the UK and he's running some ads there and it's actually working.
Yeah.
Because it's all scalable. Once you narrow it down and you get it working once, and you can repeat it over and over again.
Exactly. But I mean, we've got an app. We've got Jade with her beautiful products.
Yes.
We've also got service-based businesses as well that are providing services and how we can scale those. So, you know, there's a really nice mixture of people in the room. And what you need to remember is it doesn't matter if you buy a book or do a course, every single business is unique and therefore every business needs its own strategy.
Oh, I can't emphasize that enough.
And its own why.
Yeah.
So we need to get very clear on that. And doing that on your own is actually almost impossible. I can't even do it after 20 years. So it's important that you understand that yes, you can try and self-help by yourself, but really the reason I've been successful is not because of me. It's about all the great people I've got around me over the years. And I've got the best best in class, as they call it.
Yeah.
Best in class in Google and Facebook. I mean, you've met Nat.
Yeah.
She's a genius. And Monty.
Yeah.
I've been through so many suppliers to get to these amazing core people. And then these guys in the lab, I'm just like, here, just use this person. And they're all helping them grow their business. So it's not just me. It's also my team that are also supporting them through their journey.
So if you have been following our HubLives, you would have seen Monty, who is the Google guy. Monty is Tamara's introduction to the lab. So Tamara is our expert, but you've brought Monty.
Yes.
And then also Natalie. I think Daniel did a stint with Natalie on the couch when I was away. So she's phenomenal.
She's my secret weapon.
She is incredible. She could get stuff done like it's
she
nobody's
knows
business.
Social media and marketing like
Inside
no one else
out.
I've ever met in the world.
What I like about her, she's also great at project management. So
Yes.
it's not just the social, it's not just the marketing, but it's also the systems and the processes.
Attention to detail.
Absolutely, she's
which is
phenomenal.
You can't scale a business without any of that.
That's right.
And when they look at a business to buy a business, they look at all of those
Yeah.
those as well. So you'll hear a lot of people talk about getting stuck in an earnout or those sorts of things, which isn't ideal for an entrepreneur, by the way.
No.
I can't manage to see an earnout through. But what I think is interesting is the more systems and processes you have, the better. The business needs to be able to depend without you. So we actually do all of that from the start.
Okay, so that's very, very important too. So if you're anything like me, you do not want to be stuck working hard every day of your life for the next 20 years. What you want to do is you want to build businesses, make them work with systems and teams, and then have that as a standalone unit and move on to the next thing and make that work. And that's exactly the approach that we're following in the lab.
Of course, this is all about flexibility and what life you want. We actually start with that conversation.
Yeah.
What does the business need to do to serve you? And then let's do the hard work now so that you can have that and you can create what's possible for your own life, because that's what a business is.
Yeah.
It's options, it's flexibility, it's all those things. But to start with, you got to do some hours and you got to be smart about it. You need to work smart and hard as far as I'm concerned at the start. So, the other thing is we've got a couple of people who are coming into the next lab who are mums, and they're returning to work, but they want to return to work on their terms.
Yeah.
So, that's a great opportunity. Like, more women in business, please. That'd be fantastic.
Absolutely.
So if you've got an idea and you're saying, look, I don't want to do 9 to 5 because I want to be there for my kids' school run and then work at night if I, choose to do that, or be flexible and take school holidays off, which is all the things that I do. I work from home. I do all of that because I've afforded myself that luxury, and it's possible through a business.
Yeah, love that. Hey, Daniel, thanks for joining us. I think one of the traps in the early days is to build the business so that you're so entrenched in it that the moment you take a minute off, things don't go well. And that's exactly what we don't do. That's what we avoid.
Absolutely.
And that's easy. That's an easy trap to fall in.
It is, but you don't also, we're spending a lot of time looking at what things do we really need staff members for as well. Like there's a lot that can be outsourced. There's a lot with technology that can be automated and streamlined. So that's the smart bit.
Now, that brings us, that's a nice little segue. Let's go to this. Right.
Yes.
So you'll be familiar with this. I think, Tamara, when you were here the previous time, we spoke about systems and we focused on marketing.
Yep.
So, and everyone who's been following our HubLive, you'd be very familiar with this. So marketing brings in our customers. Then there is a difference between marketing and sales. Sales is the process of converting that lead into a paying customer. Delivery is where you actually deliver the product or service. It's more operational based. It also includes your customer service. Then obviously finance, money, budgets, reporting, governance, admin, systems. We need systems to run all of this machine so that you can deliver predictably. And then we're up to team. So talk to us a little bit about how we've been able to use this concept of team for the Traction Lab, but also talk to us more generally about your experience, your 20 years experience in recruiting teams and managing teams, because I know you also have remote teams. So talk to us generally about the Traction Lab and also about your general experience.
Well, the Traction Lab, they can't obviously afford their own staff members and team members yet. So what's really cool is they're able to tap into what I would call my advisory board, or the people that are my experts to help them. So they're offering support basically until they get to that point. There's a big gap between when you start up to when you have a management team. But once you get to management team, life is good because you've got lots of people who are accountable, that are at the level that they can handle things in your absence. But that gap in the middle, what we're doing is we're really leveraging, okay, well, if it's only you and we don't have any money for teams, what else can we do? And we're looking at outsourcing. We've got some people who are working with the lab guys on their designs and, database mining, like getting us our target market, finding where they are and sending that to us. There's lots of stuff that we can do very cost effectively at the start to get what we need, basically. So what I love about that is that this is now showing them what's possible as far as profit and scale. And then when you do get to a point when your team members come on board, you can show them your why, your 3-5 year plan, so you're going to attract the best people in class to your business when you are ready to hire. And most importantly, all the stuff that you don't like doing, like those tasks that are a bit mundane, guess what? They don't have to do them because you understand how to write a process and outsource that or delegate it, or better yet, dump it and find some technology to replace it. So and Daniel's great at that. That's his
he is
magic.
Great. He is great at that.
He knows every tool on the planet. Between him and Natalie, there's not a business that we couldn't find a tool for yet, which is great.
They know everything.
Yep.
That's exactly right. I think you've just touched on a couple of things that are skills, like how to write a process and delegate the task to someone properly. That is a skill. And then how to check in with that person to see that it's all done. That is a skill. Where to find these people, how to pay them. All of that is actual knowledge that once you have acquired that knowledge and the skill, it's easy for you to do that again and again and again and again in the lab. So that's something that you're very good at and that people get to practice here.
Well, no one's starting here from scratch. That's what's great. I've got 20 years of templates that I've created in all my businesses that we can go, oh, we need this now. How do you do a data mining? Well, guess what? They don't have to figure it out for themselves. I'm like, here is the process.
Talk to us about data mining. What is it? What is that? What is define data mining?
Once you've identified who your target market is, we now need to know where are they, and we need to know how do we get in contact with them. So it's really important to be able to say in Facebook, a data mining exercise will be creating an audience and making sure that that audience meets your client qualifier. And then of course there's LinkedIn, especially with the services-based industry. How do you create a list of people that you can target and have a conversation with? And then there's automation. So in Facebook Messenger is a really great way to get leads if you're a product-based business, if that's where your target market is. And you can actually set up sequences that are automated, which is fantastic. You run an ad, you ask them all these questions, and whatever their answer is automated the response, which is pretty fantastic. So you can be creating this huge data, and what do you think we're going to do with that? Tip it into the sales funnel that we've created. So that's what's really important. There's no use creating a sales process and beautiful marketing and nurture sequences and all this pretty stuff and Facebook pages and all that and websites if nobody's visiting.
Yeah, yeah.
So we've got to go find those people. So we are helping them create those databases, which is crucial, which is their customers.
Okay, so we'll come back to how to run teams in a minute. The one thing that I just want to mention is, if you're watching this and you think, oh my goodness, I am not good at technology, I don't think I can like work with Messenger and set up this automated system and, you know, data mine in Facebook, and it sounds very technical and difficult. Don't be put off by that. It's okay. If you are the person with drive and passion and you want to build a business and you have a good idea, apply, because in the hub we have people to help you with that, don't we?
I delegate to my husband to set up my iPhone. That's how bad I am at technology. I've just become really good at knowing how to scale businesses. And really, if you are scared by things that we're saying, then you're probably not an entrepreneur, because you really should know that this is how business is now. It's all online. It's going online. So you can either sit and put your head in the sand and not worry about it and, you know, hope to hell your super's going to be okay by the time you retire, or what you can do is you can go and embrace it and then utilize, like me, utilize really smart people around you who are good at tech.
Yeah.
My job isn't to be good at tech. My job is to know that that's crucial for my business. And I feel like there's only two ways you can make money in Australia. It's either through property or through running your own business.
Absolutely. So let me just say hello. Hey, John. We have two Johns. Hello, another John. And hey, Stacey. Thank you so much for joining us. On the couch with me today is the gorgeous Tamara Loehr. She's one of our Turbo Traction Lab experts. The Turbo Traction Lab is a program that helps you build a modern business in 80 days, pretty much starting from scratch. What you need to apply, and applications are currently open but closing very soon.
And the quality of the candidates for the next lab.
Phenomenal, hey, phenomenal.
Brilliant.
But with very soon, I mean like Monday a week, like very soon. You need to get on the link that I'm sure Courtney's posting in the comments to get your application in.
It's only a 10-minute process. At the end of the day, all you need to do is put your hand up and say, I want to play this game of business. I think I'm worthy, I've got the drive, and I see that this is a massive opportunity. That's all you need to do to start with. And then obviously if you've got a business idea or an existing business that you've created as an MVP, so minimum viable product, it means you've tested it, whether you've sold it at the markets or whatever it is, you've seen that there's a need for this, that's all we need to get started.
That's exactly all we need. There's one more thing you'll find in the application process, that we ask you to become a Smart Hub member. The reason for that is this is a completely free program, $160,000 worth of value, free of charge, but it is a members only application. So you have to become a Smart Hub member, which means that there is a $50 a month membership fee for being part of our Smart Hub community. And that comes with a heap of other benefits like free Wi-Fi, free printing, access to mentors,
your events.
access to all of our events free of charge. The Chief Entrepreneur is coming in a couple of weeks. You can get access to her. We have co-working, so you can get a desk. And then in the Turbo Traction Lab, of course, we provide all of that. We provide the infrastructure, the desk, the everything for that $50 a month membership. Yeah, that's everything.
I have a WeWork office in LA, and I can tell you now that I'm not paying $50, and I don't get all that stuff. I just get a tiny little desk.
Yeah. No, the value of what we provide at the Smart Hub is truly phenomenal. The Rockhampton Regional Council is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
This is a great space.
It is a great space. And it's
good
cool,
vibe.
it's vibey, and the people are great.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, talk to us a bit more about how to run remote teams. How do we get them, or how do we, or even, you know, teams close to you? How many people do you have working for you now?
Well, at one point I had up to 70, which was, you know, pretty intense. And, you know, I had a HR manager, but what was interesting is after I sold that business, what I went back to was my core values. And for me, and this is my personal experience share, I'm really about freedom, flexibility. I love that. You know, that's one of my core values.
True.
And another thing that I don't like to do is I like to be global. I love to travel and be able to explore. So having a 9-to-5 office and having to manage a team from 9 to 5 doesn't suit me. So now, you know how I said before the business has to serve me? What I've done is I've gone, okay, what business, my next businesses that I'm going to invest in, they must tick those boxes. So now my team all work from home. They have an option to come either to my beach house, which is kind of fun. They turn up there sometimes, or they have an office that they can go to, but they also work from home and they're flexible. So if I have this feeling that if the boss gets to do it, so should the team.
Yeah.
And if I'm able to go and do the school run and watch my kids when they are on stage getting an award, or, you know, travel and at the same time work and blend it all together, that I should also give permission for my team for that. So now they're doing that. So I have that core team that deliver on those. I'm not a big fan in DIYing, which is something that's a real problem in Australia. Everyone wants to DIY things. I'm happy to pay people to do it if they're going to run the business and do the 9 to 5, because best use of my time is being out there and doing deals and, you know, creating the business, not figuring out how to do the admin. Do you know what I mean?
You and I are so alike. I absolutely know what you mean, 150%. I think it's a who, not a how. Like, who can we get to do this so that we can go and do some more and make it bigger and better and create more interest and value in the world.
Which is really interesting, because I've met some people and they manufacture themselves, they do the marketing, they do the sales, and sometimes I say to them, okay, so what would it look like if we outsource the manufacturing? They go, what do you mean? I'm like, well, manufacturing in general is high volume, low margins. So if you were to outsource it, and they're to put 10%, which is probably what they're going to mark it up to manufacture it for you, if you were to do that, how much time does that free you up in your business? And then they tell me they get 25 hours back in a week, and I'm like, okay, imagine what 25 hours would do to your business if we really are focused on scaling this thing. How many people could you meet? How many cups of coffee could you have? How many deals could you close? To me, even just the headspace of go sit on the beach for 5 hours and think about what you need to do on your business, not in it.
Yeah, and how to take it global.
Exactly.
How to make it bigger.
But you can't do that while you're in
thinking
it.
manufacturing.
No, while somebody's knocking on your door and saying we've got a problem, and you know 3 staff are away sick, and you know you're having to answer the phones. I mean, it just doesn't work. So I'm really a big believer in don't constrain me, because I know what is best. So I pay people top dollar to do what they do best. I've got an offshore team. I streamline as much as I can. I obviously use technology. I delegate that to Natalie.
Good move.
And she, every time I say we're doing this, and she goes, no, we're not. I have a tool for that, and we won't need to use any staff hours.
Hey,
I'm like, oh.
Natalie, if you're watching, give us a bit of a shout out. Say hi in the comments and see if she's watching. Her ears must be burning.
She'll have some groupies. Yeah. But yeah, she's fabulous. But so, you know, having those people around you to say, actually, you know what, I reckon we can write a process for this. We can use this tool. As much as I'm freed up, that gives me the space to go do all these amazing things. And I do have an offshore team, and they're awesome. Yeah. And they're doing all the stuff that you and I don't want to do. So, exactly. And they're very grateful. They're happy to be doing those tasks, and they're really good at it. Yeah. So just say no. Yeah. Just learn to say no, and then focus on what you really want. Yeah. Don't say you want a big business and then go answer the telephone. That's kind of my, you know, if you want a big business, how much time are you working actually on the business versus in? And you'll find that the most successful business people in the world, from Warren Buffett, all of them, spend about 80% of their time on strategy and growth. I reckon everyone else is doing the complete opposite. Which means thinking about what to do, testing in a small way, and then delegating to expand it. Yeah, figuring out how to scale that. Yeah, making it scalable. Yeah. Hey, David, thank you so much for joining us. Tamara Loehr is with me. We're talking about the Turbo Traction Lab. And we're talking about teams. So if you come to the Turbo Traction Lab tomorrow, you share all your knowledge. You've been so generous. You share everything, don't you? From how to recruit. Absolutely. How to recruit an offshore team, how to recruit someone in Australia, how to manage them, what tools to use, technology tools, etc., etc. But Tamara, you're not the only amazing expert. We also have Natalie that we've mentioned. We have Monty will come up. We also have Chris Lorang, which has been on the couch as well with Daniel. So Chris is a product manager and sales expert, and he helps people with the one-to-one conversations, which is so important. How important is sales in business? Unbelievable. Yeah. And he's literally like a business partner that you don't have to give equity to. Yeah, he is constantly in contact with everybody in the lab. He's been phenomenal. Yeah. He's talking to them about their business ideas, you know, offering extra things that you just don't think of, because again, that helicopter view. But, you know, all that stuff you usually get a business partner for. And these guys are getting to keep 100% of their business and have access to all these people that are pretty much, we're all owning their businesses like they're ours, like they're our babies too, you know.
I can absolutely vouch for that. The experts are taking this so seriously and really taking ownership of the business, not in a legal manner, but in an emotional and a commitment manner.
We're invested.
You are very much
very
invested.
Much. We want to see them win.
No, exactly. How good is that? And then we also have Mr. Dean Dobson, who is an ex-Microsoft person. He helps us with product management. So that can be tech product or service or actual product. So he's an expert in that. And then we have Law Squared. We have Sean from Law Squared help us with the legals so that we can get all your structure right and you can get all your agreements right and your terms and conditions on your website and ensure that you stay out of trouble.
Tick and flick.
Tick and flick person. And then we also have Chris Harris help us with the accounting. And then we have someone local who's incredible, our tech person in the Smart Hub, who's pretty much been here from absolutely day one. I think he was our very first member, and he himself has managed to build a great tech business in Rockhampton, which is scaling now. Phil Martin, he's our technology person, so he helps you set up all the tech tools, he helps you build your minimal viable product if it is a technology product. So we have some exceptional experts. We've been so lucky.
I pay for all of those in my business, and top dollar. So, and they're all here, and every time you have a problem, you put your hand up and you've got an expert on you, the problem's fixed, it's set up, it's pretty amazing stuff.
It is pretty amazing stuff. Okay, Tamara,
Yes.
we've been rabbiting on about the Turbo Traction Lab, which is, I know we're both equally passionate about this process and about what can be achieved in 80 days. What else can you say, like final words of advice, or what should people be thinking or considering?
Well, I think when it comes to the next lab, we've really refined the process.
We really have, yeah.
And it's the word's starting to get out. People are starting to hear about it, and I think one limiting belief that I'd like to focus on, because it is a limiting belief and it's just something that we make up in our head, is I'm not from Rockhampton, therefore I can't go. And in my book, I talk about a whole section around tribe versus community. And what I mean by that is I consider my community my forum, this group, which is for these guys, their lab, right? But outside of that, you don't limit yourself by your learnings and what you have access to based on your territory. So not territory, look at tribe. So when you think about your business, if you're in Brisbane or Sydney or anywhere else, Mackay, I mean, I'm from Moranbah. So wherever it is, you go to where you can get the best opportunity for yourself and your business, and territory doesn't come into it. So for me, people think I'm mad. They're like, why are you flying to LA every month? I go, because my tribe is there. My tribe for my customers, because there's obviously a lot more of them. You know, Coles versus CVS. Coles, how many Coles stores are they? We're in Coles, but we're also on CVS, and they have 12,000 stores in America. So it's just a different thing. So firstly, there's that. And then the people. So the people that I can get access to out of America are running billion-dollar businesses, and they're my mentors. Can you imagine what that's doing to fast-track my business? So you've really got to think about, okay, shut that down. Because I go to LA, yes, it's a 13-hour flight, but, you know, I obviously fly at the pointy end of the plane, but 8 hours of it is sleeping. So I might as well be sleeping on the plane and waking up with my tribe. So have a think about what this course is worth, and then also think about the fact that it's an hour-and-a-half flight.
Wherever you are in Australia, if you can get to Brisbane, it's an hour.
And I know people in Sydney that are part of groups, you know, where they're paying to be taught, and they spend 2 hours in traffic. So, you know, don't limit yourself by that. If you know somebody who lives in another state, who has a great business idea, and they're hungry, and they really want to make it happen, then jump on a plane, because there is nothing like this in the world. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we start getting people from overseas going, can we come and do this? It's only for Australians, but
it really is.
It's an amazing program, and I haven't seen anything like it in the world. And I travel to a lot of countries and see into a lot of incubator centres, and there's nothing like it. So I think that's my main thing. Is a lot of people say yes, but I have to go to Rocky. I'm like, so I go to LA. I go wherever I need to go. So,
and Rocky is a great place. It's beautiful. And honestly, the Smart Hub's a beautiful environment. It is everything here you need. It's really modern and it's gorgeous.
but you actually need to take yourself out. If you've got an existing business, taking yourself out of the business is the best thing that you can do. And usually when you're in the same town, it's not. So in my tribe, we actually go away as a group, because when we're in the same town as our family, as our businesses, as our staff, we just are distracted and we just don't get as much done. So the exercise of lifting yourself out and coming to Rocky, you're on the beautiful water.
Oh, yeah.
The pace of it is just really nice. Your brain just switches on. There's something about it. And the people here are just beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. So talking about limiting beliefs, the other thing that might come up is, I'm not sure that I'm good enough to be in this program.
Well, we all don't think we're worthy.
We never, yeah. So
Everyone's
don't
got
be
that.
surprised if you have that in your head. Please do not make that call. Do the application. Just apply. Just apply. Don't listen to I'm not sure that I can actually make this. If you're passionate about what you want to do, just apply. Send through the video and we'll have a phone conversation with you and we'll answer any questions. And I think the third thing that might come up is, I'm not sure that I can fit this into my life. Yeah, because it seems like a big commitment, 80 days. And it really isn't that great of a commitment. 16 weeks to build the business of your dreams.
Versus the 10 years that it took me to learn all that.
Versus also all the money you had to spend to get access to all the information you needed.
And all the mistakes I made that I had to learn through my pocket, the lessons.
Yeah, like all of that's taken care of free of charge.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I know entrepreneurs and they dream of building businesses and they never quite get there because life gets in the way. The challenge is, in 20 years' time, when life's no longer in the way, you'll look back with regret. I think there's this book, about, I can't remember what it's called, but a nurse wrote this book about working with elderly who are on their deathbeds and saying, what's the thing that is it's troubling you? And it is not what they did, it is the things that they didn't do.
Absolutely.
So don't...
And that's what's good about America versus Australia, I have to say that. Here, tall poppy, everyone's like waiting for you to fail. Everyone's scared of failure. But there's no such thing as failure.
No,
that's
there
just
really
lessons.
isn't. Yeah.
And in America, I think that's why they do so well in business, is because they just give it a go. They just jump in and say, I want to run my own business. And what you tend to find is when you jump into business, you think you know what the customer wants, but they will tell you what they want.
Yeah.
And you end up selling them something and you pivot this way. It never ends up exactly how
what
it looks.
you think.
No,
yeah.
it never does.
No.
That's the point of the journey. But the business journey is so much fun. And it's just taking that first step. It really, I cannot stress enough how wonderful it is to be in business and to be in this community and to have the freedom and the opportunities and the journey. So look, if you think that's something that you want to do in life, then don't be the person on your deathbed saying, I regret it. Because guess what? I always say to people, you're overcomplicating it. You're one decision away from changing your life, and you can always go back to plan B, which is just get your job back.
Exactly right. And you could get to hang out with the amazing Tamara.
And some people are doing part-time. They're working and doing this at the same time. And they're just being really good with their time management. Absolutely.
So there is that opportunity. We have 2 streams. We have a full-time stream and a part-time stream. This is our second last lab. You have to get in now. Lab 2 is going to be amazing.
It's already half filled too,
absolutely
isn't
amazing. It is already half filled, probably a little bit more than half filled, to be quite honest. But we are still looking for incredible entrepreneurs to apply. So just have a go. Let us make the decision. Just have a go. Just apply. You have nothing to lose. Any other parting words, Ms. Tamara?
No, just thank you. Thank you for creating this. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. It's good. We are the backbone of the economy, small business. So any support in that area is really fantastic. And let's not forget, I keep getting the thanks, but I'm learning stuff too. By going back to basics with each of these businesses and then going through the process of scaling them, I'm also learning a lot as well. Because those constant reminders, I read E-Myth, the book, every 3 years.
Yeah,
just because,
it's a good book to read.
Yeah, but sometimes it means different things at different stages in your business. So, for me, it's been so rewarding absolutely rewarding, seeing them achieve things. And, you know, we're going through our highs and our lows and coming out with great outcomes. So, you know, for me, it's just been a really wonderful process. So come join us. It's a safe area. It's very friendly. I'm a country girl. So, yeah, there's none of that you know, scary entrepreneurs sort of classroom stuff. It's not them and us. We're all together. We all have lunch together.
We do. We have lunch. Daniel cooks once a week and we all eat together and we have monthly members lunches. Really, it's a really lovely community.
Yeah, we're all sharing videos of our families and, you know, we're really blending it. So, yeah.
And we're working hard, let's be honest. There is hard work. We are working hard.
We've got the whip, remember.
We're focusing on what has to be done. But yeah, even that, if you're struggling to get stuff done at home, this is the environment. You walk in there, you step onto that, you know, it's got a little bit of an orangey, maroony carpet. You step onto that carpet, you know, it's game on. Yeah.
And you don't, the other thing is you don't need to have, it's not like university where you go and get taught.
No.
This is very hands-on and practical. So really you just need to be a hard worker and, you know, have a dream. But what's really interesting is that a lot of people in the class, a lot of us haven't been to big universities.
No, that's right.
A lot of us haven't been to university.
Yeah.
Most entrepreneurs that I meet
they
don't even finish high school. It's a myth that those people are the ones who end up entrepreneurs. It's actually quite the opposite. My whole MIT class, which is hand-selected 70 people from around the world, I think 10% went to uni. So don't let any of that stuff get in the way.
Yeah. So apply, get onto the link that Court's posted in the comments, and we can't wait to get in touch and to have a chat about your dream and about your idea and about how you can get involved in the Traction Lab. Join us this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Tamara's coming to me with me to 4RO to chat with Laurie.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, so if you want to hear a bit more about Tamara or more from Tamara, join us on the radio at 3. And we'll see you next Monday on our HubLive right here from the Smart Hub at 1. Not Monday, did I say Monday?
Yes.
Next Thursday. Sorry, Courtney's laughing at me. Next Thursday at 1 from the Smart Hub. We'll see you then. Bye.
Can't wait to meet you all. Come say hi.
Yes.